Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nilmer Movie Nights, Episode 1. My name is Nilmer.
Hi, I'm Thur.
This is a brand new show we're planning to do weekly, maybe, where we go to our local video store, find a movie that me and my special guests have never heard of before, and then watch it, and then talk about it, and then post it on YouTube.
The first film that we watched was Daphne and Velma, an original live-action Scooby-Doo spinoff that that was released in 2018, which is kind of surprising, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Don't you think, Sheer?
Oh, it was a masterpiece.
It was a G-rated kids film.
So obviously it had to pander to
right,
4-year-olds. So
nothing really made any sense, but that was okay because it's for 5-year-olds. And if we're gonna spoil the whole thing here, so
yeah.
If you are above 5 years old, I would not recommend watching the film. If you're a young child,
actually, if you're listening to this and you have an IQ of above 75, I highly suggest you watch this as a so bad it's good movie.
Right.
We were laughing our socks off the entire time.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. All the writing is just so good. All the acting is even better.
Very good film techniques and shot composition.
They had to like make sure that they weren't being all weird and boring to the young hip teens. So they had to like implement social media in a lot of places.
Right. Yeah. So they could be relatable to the youth.
And there was they had a meme, I'm putting air quotes, where they took a bunch of video clips of a person eating yogurt and then they put impact font above and under it that said Yogurt Zone.
And then the cool kids were like, yo, that's so embarrassing. There were lots of cool memes.
Alright.
So yeah, the technology company in Daphne and Velma.
Maybe we should explain the plot of the movie.
Okay,
first.
fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so Daphne and Velma is about the two titular characters who have been online friends for years. It doesn't really take time to develop these characters at all. It just tells us that they're friends and expects us to care about them.
We're supposed to know who they are because we're big Scooby-Doo fans.
And so Velma goes to a place called Ridgefield High, a high school called Ridgefield High.
Yep.
And Daphne has been traveling the globe because her mother is a tech entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And also...
What's it called? Mash Mouth?
Yeah. She made a product called Mash Mouth.
It sounds like Smash Mouth, but it's not.
No, Match Mouth.
Match Mouth. Match Mouth. Yeah, right. Which comes in later into the story.
Yeah,
it does a great job of tying it in.
But side note, so Daphne is white.
This is very important to mention.
Daphne is white and her father is white, but her mom is black. So it's almost like they needed to sandwich in a token black character,
right.
So it didn't seem like they were being racist, but they like implemented it in the worst way possible.
And like Daphne is not like somewhere in the middle. She's quite white.
Yeah.
She definitely does not have black skin at all.
Yeah.
So she's adopted or something. I don't know. It's not explained, but
so Daphne tells Velma that she's coming to Ridgefield High, and Velma
she's mad for some reason.
Is underwhelmed for some reason, even though her best friend is coming to her school.
Right. Not really explained. Well, first of all, I mean, the movie opens up with a non-diegetic scene.
Non-diegetic scene
of this girl walking in a hallway, and then there are spooky lights, and then it says Daphne and Velma on screen.
Actually, the way it opens is, so we're introduced through this video service called like Bloom Video or something.
Yeah.
It's obviously supposed to be a YouTube clone. And it's this video of a place called Ridgefield High, and it's throwing a bunch of expository dialogue at us.
Yep.
And it's like explaining background information about how there's this guy named Tobias Bloom who's put all of his money into Ridgefield High because they don't want to have to be able to explain that without narration.
I know, they just kind of like state everything at the beginning.
And so then they show a video clip of a girl putting her waste into a robotic trash can. And then the trash can holds out little flowers that is like, hey, thanks for being sustainable or whatever.
Right.
And then it shows like her phone sends up a hologram of skull and crossbones.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to a shot of her outside the video, and she's like walking in a hallway, and then it shows a shot of her walking into a locker, and then it cuts to title.
Yeah. And then the locker thing comes back, and we later learn that girl's name is Olivia.
But they don't like introduce this character at all, so we didn't know about
like
her.
halfway through the movie, they're just like, Velma's like, so Daphne, did you hear about this girl named Olivia? Same thing happened to her. But then it's like, I mean, they make everything else in the movie so freaking obvious. Like, they have to restate everything so many times. But, like, we didn't realize that was Olivia. They didn't make that clear at all.
Maybe it's we weren't paying attention, but hey, who can blame us?
Yeah, like, well, because they say, like, well, she's this, like, super talented musician. And then when the
like,
freaking...
her only character trait isn't acted upon, like, at all.
Yeah, I know.
And they later say, oh, she was wearing a blue ribbon. I didn't see a flippin' blue ribbon.
Yeah, and that she was like really good at violin. Opening sequence doesn't show any of that. It's just some girl, and we don't know who she is.
And then
they
later,
don't talk about her until halfway through the freaking movie.
And then later they find this tattered blue ribbon in the locker, and they're like, "Hey, Olivia used to wear this all the time."
Yep. So then it's confirmed that evil stuff is happening, and that it's the same locker.
Oh yeah, now we know. So they were like. Okay,
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
No joke. So, she said, now we know that... Oh, flip. We probably should explain the plot more.
Right. Okay, so there's this... Freaking... Kids are walking into lockers, and then there's, like, smoke and stuff, and then they become zombified.
Yeah, so what happens is, like, these really smart kids...
Only the smartest kids in the school.
Yeah, are like they're randomly showing up and they like don't have any brain power. They're acting all dumb and they say "I'm good" a lot for some reason.
Yeah, there's this one scene where the kid just says "I'm good" over and over again. It's really good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that scene a lot. And what's the kid's name who gets zombified? Not Olivia, the
first
other
one.
Yeah,
Spencer.
So Spencer's one of the really cool kids.
Spencer's like the coolest kid on the block. We're introduced
to him at the beginning of the film. He's like, "Hey, I'm Spencer," and then he just becomes zombified immediately.
Also, they do this thing where it's ranking all the students by how smart they are. But it's like also acting like they have a lot of social media influence because they have like these numbers next to their name. But it's not said that they like use social media a lot. It's just said that they're like smart.
I am really not sure how the ranking works, because at the beginning of the film, this character named Carol, who's the senior advisor, she says, like, Daphne's at the very bottom of the ranking. She has no friends.
Velma.
Velma's at the very bottom of the ranking because she has no friends.
It's surprisingly hard to confuse these characters.
But then she
easy to confuse them.
It's so much about like how smart you are. So then Velma turns in homework, and then she moves way up in the rankings to number 2 for some reason, even though she still only has one friend, and that doesn't make any sense at all.
It also showed her being at the science fair and being like, "Hey, yo, robot, you're the coolest."
Right. So if you talk to people and turn in your schoolwork, you are the most popular person. I'm not sure who decides the ranking, how that gets determined, but it's like on this big board in front of the school. It's really important.
Anyway, where were we? After they throw all this exposition at us, and also, one more thing we forgot to mention. There's this... Daphne's main character trait is that she's super lucky. And so then she goes home and then she finds out...
This is great.
It's actually her dad who's so lucky.
Yeah, well, her dad isn't lucky. He just follows her around everywhere and does whatever she wants. She's sitting in her room, and then she's like, "Play this music," and then it starts playing, and she's like, "Wow, I'm so lucky. I wanted this song to start playing, and then it did." But then we later learned that it was her dad who was playing the music, and not just her luck.
And not technology.
Yeah, not technology. She thought she was just lucky that music started.
It's like supposed to be technology because like we live in this technologically advanced like
Alexa
setting,
pup, you know,
where you can voice activate everything and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm shaking a Polar Express snow globe out of anger. But then we later find out that it's just her dad doing that.
Right.
So like, how did she think she was lucky when
for her whole life?
For her whole life.
She's a high schooler now.
Oh yeah.
She just woke up to violin music every morning, and she's like, "That's my alarm clock, not my dad playing violin outside my room."
These characters are supposed to be these characters are supposed to be high schoolers, but they
Right.
don't look convincingly high schoolers.
Definitely
at all.
not.
They
Especially
look like
Carol.
Especially Carol.
But none of them do.
So, oh my god. So then Daphne goes to school, and now that her one character trait is gone, she's just like, I don't know who I am anymore. And all
She
these
just stirs
bad,
up. She gets sent to the principal's office.
all these bad things are happening to her, and Carol, and she wears the Scooby-Doo outfit, and then Carol's like,
Right.
oh my god, you look so bad, and then she gives her
An alien t-shirt.
an alien t-shirt.
And she's like, oh my gosh, I love aliens. Good thing I have this alien t-shirt.
And then she walks away, but then Carol looks at her like very, very menacingly.
Yeah, which
almost,
is
almost like she's
foreshadowing.
stalking her or something.
Yeah, which is foreshadowing to the plot twist of the film that Carol is actually Tobias Bloom and is freaking everybody up into zombies. It's actually Carol this whole time.
And
Wow, that was very unpredictable to me. I did not see that
it's
coming.
just so, like, it was so obvious. Like, but
she just gives menacing looks to the main characters.
Even though
there's
it's
no
so
way
obvious,
she's a bad guy.
even though it's so
She's the
obvious,
senior
there's like
advisor.
somehow you never know where this film is going. Like, like it.
Like, you know the plot twist. You know this freaking Carol. But, like, there's so many characters. It's...
There's so many characters, and you know it's gonna end up that way, but at the same time, you're like presented with all this new information. You're like, wait, is this character actually there? And there was this character that I thought was gonna be a red herring because they introduced the Carol weird menacing look very early. But then I was like, no, there can be a red herring. This is a movie for 5-year-olds.
Right.
But actually, he was a red herring.
Oh, heck. Who are you talking
I'm talking about Griffin Griffiths.
Oh, yeah, Griffin
So,
Griffiths.
later
I'm not
they-
sure why he was in the movie,
Later,
actually.
they introduced the fact that he was, he's like the most popular kid, and he has like a family legacy to uphold because all of his
He
all of
isn't
his
the
siblings.
most popular, is he? Because at the very end, he's like, so glad I could be most popular for once.
Yeah, he was like one of the most popular in the school, and I guess maybe by that line it's implied that all of his brothers and sisters are like not very proud of him because
Right.
they have all won the bracket, but he hasn't. But then
The bracket is so freaking dumb.
But
It
then
makes no sense.
But then, like, if all of his brothers and sisters were also on top of the bracket, then wouldn't Tobias Bloom be sucking their brains out as well? So how did he not realize that there was something going on before this, or did he only just start recently?
Right. So, yeah, the plot twist is that Tobias Bloom, who makes...
You already explained the plot twist.
Well, yeah, well, okay, well, we didn't really talk about Tobias Bloom too much.
Okay.
He like, controls the whole school with his technology. He has, like, an Instagram ripoff app, which is called
Bloomgram.
Bloomgram. He's the Snapchat ripoff app, which I don't know what that's
so
called.
this character was like, oh, Spencer just sent out a snap, and it shows him being normal even though he's brain dead. And I thought, wait, so does that mean Tobias Bloom has a Snapchat ripoff, or did she just say snap because she's used to saying snap
Right.
because of Snapchat? And then they just took it out. They didn't take it out. They were like, oh, whatever. Let's just call it Bloom Snap.
So Tobias Bloom has all these different social medias, and he can 3D print food.
And also, he gives all the kids futuristic phones
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah. And we later learn that he is a hologram.
And Carol is really controlling it.
Right.
Wow.
Carol is actually Tobias Bloom. Isn't that crazy, guys? Wow. This character says wow at some point. It's pretty.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty good.
She says like, "Wow, Daphne, sorry, Velma has friends."
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I just thought they need to point that out because it is a pretty good wow, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think about the soundtrack of Daphne and Velma Shear?
I thought it was there was actually one song where I was like, "Oh, this isn't a bad song," but it was
Right.
all so generic
Yeah.
that it was so weird.
And yeah, I mean, I it was like, it wasn't terrible, it wasn't unbearable, but I don't remember it now, even though we just finished the movie like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Or 10 minutes ago now, 15 minutes ago in this recording.
Yeah.
Also, it did not need to be related to Scooby-Doo at all. Scooby-Doo is not in this, neither is the rest of the gang. It
Yeah,
just covers Daphne and Velma. They wear the same clothes.
Yeah, so there's this one.
One scene they
There's
just reference Scooby-Doo a ton, and that's it.
Okay, so like I think all the Scooby-Doo references. The first thing is one time
Their
at the-
names
near
are
the
Daphne
beginning of
and
the movie.
Velma.
Yeah, besides that. Besides the fact that their names are Daphne and Velma, one time Daphne wears, like, her, like, purple dress or whatever,
Yeah.
and uses the green headband like she does in the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, there's one scene where they're, like, being chased around by a floating ghost-like creature, and then it does, like, the cartoony chase scene, and they, like, pump up the frame rate so it seems like they're running cartoonishly fast. And the third thing is that when Carol actually gets captured, she says, "I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids."
That is a good line, yeah.
And yeah, that's the only those were literally the only tie-ins to Scooby-Doo.
I know. Well, it would not have made as much money if it was not a Scooby-Doo film, but I would have liked to see some Scooby-Doo in there, a CGI Scooby-Doo like in those movies. Speaking of CGI, special effects were really bad.
So maybe you wouldn't wish there was.
Yeah, well,
CGI
it'd be cool to make fun of, but yeah. There's like some frisbee throwing or something. I don't freaking know.
Oh yeah, so in one scene, Daphne gets hit in the head with a multicolored rainbow frisbee, and then like there are these weird sparkles that fly off of it, and they look very unrealistic.
Very unrealistic.
Yes.
Freaky G-rated Scooby-Doo movie.
Yep.
Your confetti looks
also
unrealistic.
In a trailer before this, a character said "damn."
That's crazy.
So I was kind of surprised, given that this is a G-rated film.
maybe that film isn't G-rated because they said the D word, and that's unacceptable.
Also, there was a trailer for Morgan and Me.
Oh wait,
was it Morgan and Me?
I know, Max. I forget. Whatever. We're covering it later because we saw it at the same video store today, and we almost picked it up instead of Daphne and Velma. But we're definitely covering it later because it looks amazing. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a different episode. We're explaining this way out of order, but
yeah.
Also, the principal.
That's mostly your fault.
Gosh, staying sheer. Anyway, when students screw up, the principal gives them shame clouds.
Oh no!
Stickers.
Shame stickers, and they're like these little thunder clouds. And every time she says "shame sticker," there's this thunder sound effect.
It's really good. It's played like 6 times in the film.
And it sounds like.
Right.
Like thunder, right?
Yeah.
But then there's also this sound in there, like singing voices, and it's so unnecessary.
I mean, so is the sound effect, but it's a storm. And then later, the stickers aren't enough, because they keep screwing up. So she gives them a shame drone. A shame drone to follow them around.
And it is a drone with a little robotic blue cloud hanging off.
Right.
And later in the film, we see the shame cloud sleeping. And then when Velma picks him up, she says, "Is that you, Mom?" The shame cloud says, "Is that you, Mom?" Right. As if it were an animate creature. Mm-hmm. But how can it even sleep? It's a robot. Yeah.
Speaking of robots, that is how Velma blows up lockers. Okay.
You can explain it if you want to.
No, you go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
So Velma's a genius and she invents a bunch of robots. So the way she makes bombs to blow up lockers, because she wants to find out what's inside lockers, is she takes one of the engines of her robots, because she's made several, but she programmed them with human emotions, right? So there's a frame of her like holding up a hammer, and then there's like a hammer sound effect, and then the robot goes, "No!" And then she later shows that she took out the engine, and then she uses it as a bomb.
Yeah, well, 2 engines. She has.
She
3. Blows up the 3.
She destroys 3 robots, takes their engines, and then sticks them onto lockers, and then puts like explosive
blow up into yellow smoke inside the locker.
Orange
somehow.
smoke inside the locker.
Yeah, orange smoke.
It like.
She puts a robot engine on a locker, and then orange smoke appears inside of a locker and blows it up, and then the engine just freaking disappears because it's just not there anymore.
It's gone.
It blew up. They didn't bother to put it back outside the locker. Yeah. We done here?
No, I feel like we can explain more.
Okay.
Somehow, I feel like there's more to talk about.
There is definitely a lot more to talk about. Like how...
how...
When they change shirts it just cuts away, and then they're in a different shirt because they can't show the actual color, the shirt changing color with the Bloom app. They just have a bunch of different shirts that they cut to, and it's honestly kind of lazy of the filmmakers.
Wow, did you just call these filmmakers lazy?
Okay, let's do some boobity boop research. Who made this film? You can continue explaining stuff. I'm just researching. 2 out of 5? Common Sense Media? That's crazy. It was directed by Suzy Unessi. Wow.
You leaned pretty close into the microphone there.
Sorry, gosh. Music composed by Sasha Gordon. And there's a prequel to it.
Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the Lake Monster.
Wow.
Wait, but how? This is an origin story.
There's a prequel to this. It's the origin story of Daphne and Velma's friendship. When was this made? 2010.
Okay, are they the same actors?
No. Does not look like it. Also, Scooby-Doo is in this one.
Yeah. So, is it just a prequel, like, in terms of time? Like, oh, this is also a live-action Scooby-Doo film.
Scooby-Doo films.
Anyway, the other thing is that when
I look up Scooby-Doo films and Daphne and Velma isn't even listed. That's harsh.
Oh yeah, so the plot of Carol, aka Tobias Bloom, was that she was sucking out the creative willpower and ideas of all these kids because they had good ideas and stuff, and then turned them and then used them to make other inventions, right?
Right.
So she makes a food 3D printer and then presents it like it's her own invention, and then she does that as well. But why would you only have one product per person? And also, why would they only be thinking of one product? Like, oh, you know what I really want to make is a food 3D printer.
Speaking of the food 3D printer, it doesn't make any sense.
You mean just in the way it's animated, or the fact that he says, I'll make enough pizza for the entire school, and then it conveniently cuts away so that they don't have to make
the actual spot that it prints on is like just big enough to print one slice of pizza. What if you want to print anything bigger than one slice of pizza? Not freaking explain.
Luck.
What if you want to... I mean, they obviously can't print pizzas for the whole school because they do that, but we don't see it because they cut away because there's no way to animate that because it's impossible.
They would just do it like one slice at a time, and that would take too much time to focus on. So look, conveniently, they watched him present the food 3D printer, and then they went away. They were just gone, and then they blew up a locker, and then they got shame stickers. Okay.
How would you rate this movie?
I feel like I had one more thing that I wanted to say.
Okay, go for it.
But I don't remember what it is.
Dang it, that's a shame. Flip. I definitely had a lot of things in mind. Oh, so, go for it.
Eventually, Daphne's mother gets trapped in the chair because she made match mouth, which is something that you can use to simulate facial features.
Right.
And then that's how they were making it seem like everything was okay, right?
And how they made
but why
Tobias Bloom, how Carol made Tobias Bloom a hologram, or how they made everything seem was okay. But like, so Tobias Bloom, the guy that they make look like Tobias Bloom, was actually a Japanese model, which Daphne knows for some reason.
Because she went to school in Japan.
Because she went to school in Japan, so she knows
which
the
film reminds you of a lot. Oh, also there's a lot of Ramune product placement for some reason.
I don't know why that is.
And also at the end there's a product placement for Noosa yogurt, because there's like there's a shot of the principal who likes yogurt putting her spoon in some yogurt, and then conveniently there's a Noosa logo. And then she brings it up to her mouth, and then it's a tracking shot of her hand bringing the yogurt up to her mouth.
Yeah,
and then she's like, man, that's some good yogurt.
Right.
Product placement for Noosa yogurt.
Yeah. Go buy some right now. Daphne.
Okay, and so if he was a Japanese model, how did she make Tobias Bloom look American, which he is?
Yeah.
Did she just like de-Asiify him?
Why not?
Or
make
did
it an
she
American model?
just use like a picture of it and then be like, let me simulate an entire face based off of just this cartoony illustration.
Yeah, why use a Japanese model other than literally anyone from the United States?
Oh, here's why.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so when she invented the first phone, she had Ramune.
Yeah.
And she even showed a shot of her drinking the rum.
Right, yeah, I remember this.
And she just saw, oh, hey, there's a guy on the side of this. Let me make a fully animated human based off of this illustration.
That I saw on the side of
I saw on the side of Ramune.
Yeah.
I forgot about that until now. Oh, yeah, and so Daphne's mother, who made Matchmouth, is having her ideas sucked out of her head by this weird machine. And so then after they've confronted her and been like, yo, you're bad, and she was like, oh, I would have gotten away with it too.
If it weren't for
and also
you.
the police are there, even though nobody called the police.
Yeah, I'm also like,
and I'm not.
You don't hear sirens until like 1 second, and then there's just lights show up in the room all of a sudden.
Yeah,
it's very well done.
And then and then it cuts to Daphne's mom, who is out of the idea sucker by now. Yeah. Beating the crap out of the helmet. Just the helmet that's sucking out all the ideas, not the machine itself. Just the helmet.
Which automatically de-zombifies everyone.
Yeah. And now everyone's
Yay.
back to normal.
Yay. Daphne and Velma saved the school.
There are so many more things that I could talk about. Like the fact that the girl who was made to be at number 1 that they don't want to be zombified is made. They don't want her to be zombified because she's their friend or whatever. So to prevent her from staying at number 1,
it's so dumb.
What they do is Daphne, who is actually a genius, turns in a bunch of schoolwork, and then she automatically zips up to.
Velma turns in a bunch.
Did I say Daphne?
Yeah.
Flip.
Yeah, I did that earlier too. They're very distinct, strong, independent female characters.
Velma, who is actually a genius, turns a bunch of schoolwork in that she never did, and then she zips up right up to number 2 with a 1.8 M right next to her face. Even though she's the least popular
person in the school.
And then
she still has one friend.
And then what they do is they want to get her out of number 1, so they go and destroy her artwork, right?
Yeah.
Because her artwork obviously would have made her stay at number 1,
right,
definitely.
Because it's really good artwork.
Because great
makes
artwork.
her popular.
Trash to treasure.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So, but then, like, all of her work to get up to number 2, that never pays off because she just gets kidnapped anyway, so why was that even there?
A lot of stuff. I'm not totally sure why most of this movie was even there.
Oh, also...
I guess it needed to be an hour and 15 minutes
long. Also,
long.
the principal who likes Noosa yogurt is actually Velma's aunt.
Oh, hi.
And also she wants to be like Tobias Bloom because she has a framed picture of Tobias Bloom in her office. And also there's this, like... there's, like, internal conflict at the beginning of the movie, so that they just have Daphne and Velma sit on this couch that helps resolve their problems.
Right, yeah.
And that shifts
around.
The
couch can detect friendship and conflict between Daphne and Velma. It's pretty good technology.
And then in the next scene, in the principal's office, it's gone.
Right.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Why would it be?
Frick that pup. They got rid of it.
Okay, I'm done talking about this movie.
Well, thank you guys for listening to the first ever episode of Movie Night on the Neil Steve YouTube channel.
I'm Thur. You can check out my content that I haven't made yet, but I'm going to be putting out video game reviews.
I will put a link to his channel in the description below.
Yeah, I believe I'm also a linked channel on his channel page.
Are you just uploading it to that channel?
I think so.
Gotcha. If you like video games,
well,
he likes video games too.
If you can't tell, I haven't really started doing this yet.
Right.
But I would appreciate it if you gave me a subscribe.
Same. I would appreciate if you gave me a subscribe. I make Nyla the Talking Cat videos and short films with my friends.
Not me.
Most recently, City of Rust and The Line.
He's putting out
both of which are really good.
He's putting out The Line YTP pretty soon.
Spoilers for the future of the Neil Steve YouTube channel.
You can cut that out if you want.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, we're nearing 30 minutes, so I'm going to end this.
So, I would give this film a 2 out of 10.
Whoa. Harsh.
But, ironically, a 7 out of 10.
So, it gives you some pretty good laughs if you're watching it with some friends.
You can... If you get some friends together and watch it, and I'm sure you'll have just a really fun time.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
stay tuned. Next week we're going to talk about
Brittany Ever After,
Brittany
a
Ever
Lifetime
After.
original movie.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. I'm sure it's going to be a great film. We haven't seen it yet, but I have it rented in my home. Bye-bye.